Hey, what's going on, guys? Bringing you guys my NFC South draft grades. I'm going to hit on the Carolina Panthers first. If you guys watched my Carolina Panther offseason video, I said the Panthers need to draft healthy players. They need to find healthy players in this offseason because their defense has always been banged up. And what do? They go out and draft Luke Kuechly, the inside linebacker out of Boston College. I believe that this pick was probably my favorite pick in the entire division because they did exactly as, in my opinion, what they should have gone out to do. They found that key piece in the middle of that defense there, and I mean they still have Beeson, they still have a couple other guys at the linebacking position, but if everybody stays healthy in their linebacking core this year, the Panthers defense is just going to be probably top 10. I would not doubt it as long as they stay healthy. Now they went with an offensive guard in the second round in Silatulu, I believe that's how you say it, something like that. Frank Alexander, defensive end, and then Joe Adams, a wide receiver, in the fourth round, I believe. Could be one of those guys who could make an impact right away. Their wide receiving core is not that deep besides Steve Smith, and I mean they have Brandon LaFell, who did decent last year. Joe Adams could be that number 3 or number 4 guy on the roster. Watch out for that name. And then they went secondary. They went with a punter, and then went defensive back in the 7th round. Overall, it was a good draft. It wasn't a great draft, so I'd give them a B. I like what they did at the positions in where they took the players in each round. The Falcons, they didn't have a first-round pick. They went with Peter Kontz at center. Lamar Holmes, the offensive tackle, in the 3rd round, so they addressed the offensive line in the first 2 picks. They went fullback in the 5th round. Another 5th-round pick was defensive end Jonathan Massaquoi. And then they went safety and defensive tackle. It wasn't anything spectacular. I knew that they needed a center in this draft, and that's what they went out and did with their first pick. So in that respect, that was good by the Falcons. They addressed more offensive line and Lamar Holmes. So, I mean, I'd have to notch them down a little bit below the Panthers in this one. I'd give them a B-. The Saints, I'd give them a B- as well for their draft. Hakeem Nicks, the defensive tackle, they needed D-line help. That was their first pick. They addressed that right away, but it was in the 3rd round. They didn't have a first-round pick. They didn't have a second-round pick. Nick Toon, the wide receiver, in the 4th round. Watch out for Nick Toon because their wide receiving core now that, what's his name? The guy went to the Chargers. Brandon Meacham. Is it Brandon Meacham? Meacham. I'm just going to say Meacham. Meacham went to the Chargers. And they needed to address another wide receiver at that position. That's what they did. Corey White at safety. They did need secondary help. They did need safety, and they went out and did that in the 5th round. It's just a matter of, and then they went offensive guard and offensive tackle. It's a matter of where these guys are going to fit on their team. As to the depth aspect, are these guys going to be starters? Probably not. Besides maybe Nick Toon and Hakeem Nicks, but they're just added depth players. And the team that got the best grade, I believe, in this division was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mark Barron was their first pick. They traded a couple spots back with the Jaguars. They grabbed Mark Barron, and with the pick that they got from the Jaguars, they traded back into the 1st round and grabbed Doug Martin, the running back. Those 2 guys are going to be starters for sure. I know that it's not going to cause so much as a running back controversy in Tampa Bay with Doug Martin and LeGarrette Blount, but there's not rumors, but it's speculation that Doug Martin could be that number 1 running back come opening day. So just watch out for Doug Martin and LeGarrette Blount. There's going to be it's going to be a 2-headed monster there in Tampa Bay. Lavonte David in the 2nd round as well, or in the 2nd round. They didn't have 2 second-round picks. They had just 1. Lavonte David's going to be a starter. Najee Good, the inside linebacker, that's added depth. Keith Tandy, the cornerback, that's added depth in the secondary. At cornerback, Michael Smith, the running back, he could be that number 3 running back on the roster. They could have found 2 of the 3 running backs for their team in this draft. And then Drake Dunsmore, the tight end. I'd give them an overall A. They addressed their secondary need. They addressed the running back need because LeGarrette Blount was not getting the job done, let's face it. And then Lavonte David adding more of that pass rushing help. I guess you can say, next to Mason Foster and that supposedly it's supposed to be a spectacular D line. They've gone all first and second round picks on that D line. So that's all I got for you guys for the NFC South. I should be bringing you guys the NFC West here shortly, but that's all I got for you guys. I'm out.